Welcome back. Our last guest today is mindset coach Sharee Shefket, and we will be discussing how to know if you have self-limiting beliefs. Welcome, Sharee.
Thank you for having me.
So, what are self-limiting beliefs?
So self-limiting beliefs are basically beliefs that are recurring, that's quite negative about yourself. That's what's called self-limiting. So if you feel like you're, say, an average student because you're a C grade student and have a great report card, that might be a self-limiting belief that you're just an average student. And what happens with the way your subconscious mind works, it will look for evidence. Every time you do something average C, you're just an average C student. And so that will reinforce that self-limiting belief. And every time you do an activity, you do it with that level of, I'm just an average person. Whereas someone who doesn't have a self-limiting belief, and they're maybe an A plus student in their, as a kid, will look for more evidence that they are an A plus student. So when they do a task, they do it at a different level. So self-limiting beliefs are very important because it could really change your life if you've got them. And we all have. We have probably thousands of self-limiting beliefs unless you work on them. And it all depends on the programming that you've received as in your childhood, because that environment that you grew up in will play a big part of how many self-limiting beliefs you have. So I'll give you another example. If I see a child that gets told that they're stupid, that they're lazy, and they won't amount to anything, that's a term that we've heard a lot, you won't amount to anything, you're hopeless, that subconscious mind will start looking for evidence and grab evidence from the environment to support those negative beliefs. And so that person will have a self-limiting belief that they're lazy, they're stupid, they won't amount to anything. And that's why it's quite important to change this self-limiting belief, because it can really impact someone's life. And so whereas someone who's grown up in a very, very healthy environment, and they were told that I'm so proud of you, you are intelligent, they're going to have less self-limiting beliefs than someone who hasn't. And that's why it's very crucial.
How do you know if you have self-limiting beliefs?
So some self-limiting beliefs are quite conscious, because it's like, okay, well, that voice in your head will say, see, you don't deserve it, you're unworthy, you're not worthy of beautiful things, and that, so it's a bit more conscious. But we also have several self-limiting beliefs that are still unconscious. The best one I think is really important is the fact of, do you love yourself? So, for example, a self-limiting belief is more of a negative belief about yourself, whereas just a belief about yourself. So you think I'm capable, I'm productive. That's just a belief about yourself that's got no negative connotation. So what we're looking for is more the negative self-limiting beliefs about how you see yourself and how you present, and that will how you present yourself to the rest of the world. For example, I could test to see if you've got a self-limiting belief. Are you okay with that? Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So I do a thing called Psyche, and it's involves self-muscle testing. So I want you to say your full name, but as you say your name, I want you to swallow your saliva. So my name is, and then swallow.
My name is Ali Burney.
And did you swallow okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now I want you to do the same thing, but this time I want you to say, my name is Frank, and swallow.
My name is Frank.
And how was that for you?
That was really hard to swallow.
Great. The reason why you're unable to swallow is that subconscious controls your whole body. And so when something is not congruent, like the subconscious is basically saying the computer says no, you're lying. It's not like a bit of a lie detector test, but not actual, yeah? So what happens, it weakens your muscles, and that's why it's difficult to swallow. They actually did an experiment on this where they got two groups of people, one with the limiting belief of that they're unlucky and the one's lucky. They put money like in this box thing, like $20 note. The people who were lucky found the money straight away. It was like instant. But the people who had a limiting belief that they were unlucky, even though it was right in front of them, they still did not see the money. That's how powerful a self-limiting belief is. So you can do self-muscle testing through the swallow test. So your audience at home could do this easily. So they have to do a base test, like your name first and then a fake name, and they can test themselves.
So what are some tips to change your self-limiting beliefs?
So once you do the self-muscle testing and you can work out what your self-limiting beliefs are, you do one at a time. I don't recommend doing a few, just one at a time, because it's a process and it does take some time because the subconscious works on repetition. So just say you want to change the belief that you are lucky, not unlucky, you're lucky, yes? What I would recommend is, if you want to do it at home, is start to say you're lucky all the time. So put it on your phone, calendar, like, so it's repeating. Now your conscious mind is looking at it all the time, and they'll start to go into your subconscious. The other technique I recommend, are you left hand or right hand dominant? Right. Then you brush your teeth with your left hand, and what that will do, it will open up your whole state, your whole brain state, and that way you're brushing your teeth, you say, I am lucky, I am lucky. If we want to change any habits or beliefs, it takes about 66 days, which is about that 10-week mark. So that's why it needs consistency. You don't want to change 2 or 3 limiting beliefs. It's just too difficult. You do it. That's why it's a time-consuming thing, but it's possible. I also recommend someone who does Psyche, like what I do, which takes about 15 minutes to do. Yeah, but you still have to do the repetition, but it's a lot more efficient way to change that limiting belief. So it's something that someone can do at home. Like I said, self-muscle testing, see where the limiting beliefs are, and then start to rewire the mindset in terms of the new belief system. Now, what happens, and this is really important, you have a pathway. So you have a pathway right now that says, I'm unlucky. So let's examine that a bit more. You know, when you go to the beach, there's no pathway, is there? But you can see some footprints. Your mind will go straight to follow the same footprints. That's like a pathway. That's how I look at it. What I'm asking you to do now is we're creating a new pathway, but it's a bit more rugged. It's not as easy because it's not as established. So for you to go onto the new pathway, it's going to take a lot of effort. So, and it's, like I said, a process. And what's going to happen though, if you keep using the new pathway, the old pathway will start to fade away, and that's what we want. It will never go away completely, but will fade away. And the new pathway will start to get a little bit more defined and so forth. That's what we want. So the new belief that I'm lucky will start to get stronger and stronger. But where it goes wrong sometimes with people is that, just say you lose a competition, you don't want to reactivate that new pathway. Okay, I didn't win that competition. Doesn't mean I'm not lucky. I need you to still use a new pathway, because you can start to, again, revert back to the old pathway. That's where it's really important. Like, so it is a difficult process, so help from a therapist is really important. You'll get faster results, and you'll get that coach to really make sure that you stay motivated and having that support that you might need to change your limiting beliefs.
Thank you so much. That was so insightful. If you'd like to know more about Sharee and changing your self-limiting beliefs, you can visit her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. That's it from us today. We'll see you next week.